From our affiliates who were inside that courtroom that Sean Diddy Combs put his hands together in a prayer motion, looked at the jury and said thank you, before falling to his knees. His family were in the courtroom. There was applause, cheering as well as his mother left the court. She blew kisses to supporters that have been waiting outside. Now, as you mentioned, the verdict is in and it is split on that most serious charge, one count of racketeering and conspiracy. He was found not guilty. That was the charge that would have carried life in prison. He was found not guilty of sex trafficking and also of those two counts, but he was found guilty on those two counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, those charges do still carry 10 years, a maximum of 10 years behind bars, so he could still be facing up to 20 years in prison. Now, even with that guilty verdict, this is a legal victory for Sean Diddy Combs. He has been acquitted of the most serious charges against him. His defence had argued that, yes, there was domestic violence, yes, there was drug use, alcohol use, but that he should not be judged for his sexual preferences, that it was all consensual.
This wasn't just another trial. From the very beginning, the American media dubbed it the lawsuit that could bury an entire entertainment empire. Cassie Ventura, singer, model, and longtime girlfriend of Diddy, was the first to pull the trigger. In her lawsuit, she accused Diddy of years of mental, physical, and sexual abuse. But what shocked the world wasn't just Cassie's testimony, it was how every dark corner of the American entertainment industry slowly began to unravel. After Cassie, others stepped forward: bodyguards, stylists, assistants, even a few celebrities who were once close to Diddy. In total, 34 people testified, an unprecedented number in a case against someone so powerful. For nearly 2 months, the public was gripped by the proceedings, following every twist like a real-life reality show. Stories of secret sex parties, where guests were drugged and coerced, hidden cameras, hush money in envelopes. All of it painted a picture no one could have imagined about a man once seen as a blueprint for success in the American music scene. In the final session, Diddy knelt in the courtroom, hands clasped as if in prayer, and said, "Thank you. Thank you." It was a bizarre and conflicting moment, because while he was acquitted of the most serious charges of racketeering and sex trafficking, he was still convicted of 2 counts related to transporting individuals for the purpose of prostitution. That alone could land him a 10 to 20-year sentence. Still, legal experts and the media agreed this was a legal win for Diddy. And because of that victory, a wave of fear swept through the industry. Many believed Diddy would not forget those who dared to stand against him.
And after nearly a 2-month trial with 34 witnesses and hours of salacious testimony, a jury of 8 men and 4 women fined Sean Diddy Combs not guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking, but guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. The judge is currently deciding right now whether Combs will actually be released today. His defense arguing that since the music mogul was acquitted of the most serious crimes, he should be able to go home. Once court was adjourned, family members cheered today's verdict. Combs' son, Christian, telling ABC News how happy he is.
Hey, yo, we love y'all. We love everybody watching. So happy. Pop's coming home. God bless. God bless the whole world.
What was going through your head when the verdict was read? Happy.
Amid the media storm, one name started to come up more and more: Kevin Hart. Why was a comedian, someone who had steered clear of any public comment on Diddy for weeks, suddenly in the spotlight? The answer lies in a leaked video, one that spread like wildfire on social media and even became a reference exhibit in court. The clip captured a party at Diddy's lavish mansion. In the dim lighting, music blared, models dressed provocatively, or barely at all, drifted between celebrities. And at the center of it all, Kevin Hart appeared with Usher. He laughed, chatted with Diddy, and at one point joked, "Don't sit near that bed, no homo." It sounded like a harmless quip, but in this context, it became evidence that Kevin knew something was going on at these parties, and chose to look the other way.
When you have a scene like this, you gotta bring bosses with you. As you see, it's female friendly. We got a ladies and female. She's butt ball. That's what I call it, raw dog. I'm not jumping the tub myself. Once everybody gets out, it's just me and the lady. This is my scene. I'm used to this type of thing. Doing what I do best. Oh, did the camera catch that? Got the camera. Got the camera off.
Yeah, we want to thank you. Come here. Don't sit on the bed at night. No homo. No, just don't get close to the bed. Don't get close. But it's just like, yo, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man. It's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it, and you did.
No, I definitely didn't have to do it. I definitely didn't have to. First and foremost, I'm not getting in the bed. Shout out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna, if we can, let's just put the camera a little this way, just so we're not. I don't want my shot to even, I don't want it to come close to the bed at all. Usher look like he fresh off a goddamn plane. Fresh off the garden stage.
That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like just how. Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early with me. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And
What the f*** did Puff just say? Nobody's going to acknowledge this but me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes. And we're streaming live. That was stupid. Listen, that was stupid. Listen.
We're having a good time. Your Usher made it.
Throughout the trial, Kevin Hart didn't post a single word about the case. No statements, no support, no criticism. According to a few close sources, Kevin even instructed his PR team not to mention Diddy's name in interviews. A strange silence from someone known for being outspoken and unafraid to speak his mind. But once the video leaked, public opinion shifted. Was Kevin hiding something? The suspicion only deepened when rumors began circulating that Kevin was a regular guest at these secret parties. A few witnesses even mentioned Kevin's name in their testimonies, not to accuse him of wrongdoing, but to show he wasn't just an outsider. And while Hollywood turned its back on Diddy, Kevin chose to remain eerily silent. Was it fear for his career, or fear of what he knew? But everything changed last week at the BET Awards, when Kevin unexpectedly spoke out. He didn't name names. Instead, he used cryptic language to hint at the dark power in the industry, leading many to believe Kevin was subtly calling out Diddy in an attempt to save himself. If Diddy were just another artist, his retaliation might have been limited to a few social media posts or a diss track. But Diddy isn't just a rapper. He's a music mogul who owns multiple companies, has ties to major media conglomerates, PR firms, and influential figures in finance, law, and politics. His escape from charges as serious as racketeering and sex trafficking wasn't seen as luck, and that's exactly why many believe his power runs deeper than most imagine. Immediately after being acquitted of the heaviest charges, rumors started spreading within the industry. Diddy was making a list of those who had betrayed him. These weren't baseless rumors either. They came from former associates, people who had worked for Diddy and were now scrambling to distance themselves before the storm hit. At the top of that list was Christina Carorm, a former executive assistant who had been Diddy's right hand for years. Christina had full control of his schedule, logistics, and even arranged many of the secret parties. Yet in court, she took the stand against him, submitting dozens of emails, messages, and testimony describing how Diddy organized private events that lured guests into illegal activities. Once seen as irreplaceable, Christina chose to protect herself when the heat closed in. Then came the support staff who helped organize the private parties, from DJs and lighting crews to stylists and cocktail servers, all under investigation, with some choosing to cooperate in exchange for leniency. A few who were believed to be close to Diddy, including well-known artists, were rumored to have turned over sensitive information to secure immunity. These people, according to insider sources, were now reportedly on Diddy's hit list if he ever regained control.
Among those waiting on the edge of their seats for the verdict in the Sean Diddy Combs trafficking trial was singer Aubrey O'Day. She starred on Diddy's reality show Making the Band and for years has been going public warning about Combs. Now she tells Inside Edition hearing he may soon go free felt like a gut punch.
Pop star Aubrey O'Day is in shock after today's stunning verdict in the Sean P. Diddy Combs trial. I spoke to her minutes after Combs was found not guilty on the most serious charges. What was your reaction to hearing this verdict?
It's literally a gut punch. That is not good enough. Let me make it very clear, it's not good enough, okay? We are not normalizing this.
O'Day first met Diddy when he picked her to star in an all-female singing group after she competed on the MTV show Making the Band in the early 2000s. You've been speaking out about Sean Diddy Combs, raising alarm bells for years.
A lot of good it did me. My heart is with Cassie. She and all the women that testified had to sit on the stand while the world has debated their credibility and worth.
It was a travesty. It was an all-out circus. Everybody, including myself, are running to safety.
I've got a question for you, Tisa Tells, and everyone's going to want to know this. You're in a car right now. You had to leave the courthouse. Why?
I had to leave the courthouse because Diddy's supporters were out of control. The first time I ran and did my live, of course, I had 2 armed security guys. Everyone told me, the people in the courthouse is like, make sure you have security. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. It wasn't just me, but I'll tell you what I experienced. Diddy's supporters surrounding me, threatening me, saying that they were going to hurt me. It was a serious situation. It got so bad and there was so much chaos and violence that they actually had to lock the courtroom down and force the Diddy supporters across the street. It was something myself, the news media, mainstream media, new media have never seen in their lives. The level, and again, the jurors, I hope to God they know how to sleep at night. Because again, I'm sure they did their duty. But when all that chaos was happening, as I was being threatened and ushered out by armed security people, I thought, this is what the jury did. They sent a signal that it is okay to use violence. It's okay to drug people up. It's okay to live a life of debauchery. It's okay to do whatever you want. Because guess what? If you work hard enough and you have enough money and enough delusional fans and you have ingrained yourself in culture enough that you can do whatever you want. And 12 of your peers will look the other way. Again, this jury was shocking.
But Diddy's anger wasn't limited to those who testified against him. Word quickly spread that he was furious at the entire elite circle that had once helped him keep everything under wraps. The journalists, attorneys, and PR consultants who had worked to spin the narrative and protect his image for over 2 decades had all quietly withdrawn. No one dared to publicly defend Diddy anymore. And for a man who once controlled the media, that silence was the ultimate betrayal. Once celebrated as a symbol of black success, Diddy was now becoming a symbol of power in decline. But the more his power faded, the more dangerous he seemed to become. People in the industry weren't just worried about a scandal anymore. They were genuinely afraid for their safety. Cassie Ventura was no longer the young pop singer standing quietly behind Diddy. She was now the central witness, a woman who had lived inside the dark vortex of a music mogul's power, and who finally had the courage to tell the truth. But truth always comes at a cost. After the trial, Cassie submitted a direct letter to the judge, urgently requesting that Diddy not be released on bail, as she feared for her life. In the letter, Cassie's lawyer stated that Diddy still had a loyal network of people willing to take action against anyone who embarrassed him in public. Cassie had changed her phone number, moved houses, and cut off contact with many former friends, because in her words, "I can't trust anyone anymore." She didn't even feel safe enough to attend public events or return to performing, which for someone once seen as Diddy's muse, was a loss both emotionally and professionally. And it wasn't just Cassie. Deontay Nash, a dancer who had worked for Bad Boy Entertainment's shows, also became a key figure in the case against Diddy. Nash spoke about being lured in, drugged, and coerced into sexual activities without his consent. Unlike Cassie, Deontay wasn't part of the inner celebrity circle. He was just a dancer, an anonymous figure when it all happened. But that's exactly what made his story even more disturbing. This wasn't just about celebrities abusing celebrities. It was a multi-layered system of exploitation, one that used even the nameless and powerless as playthings. One chilling detail that few people know, Deontay once considered withdrawing his lawsuit after he was followed and threatened by a group of strangers late at night outside the courthouse. Security cameras at his hotel captured 2 men following him into the elevator, both dressed in black, wearing sunglasses, and saying nothing. After that night, Deontay had to hire private security and change residences 3 times in a single week. This was no longer just about the law. It was about living in constant fear. Even after speaking up, victims felt that justice wasn't strong enough to protect them. Diddy may have been convicted, but being acquitted of the most serious charges only made the witnesses more convinced he would come back, and this time, he wouldn't hold back. Even the public could feel the suffocating tension in the air. Hashtags like #ProtectCassie and #JusticeForDeontay trended for days after the trial, only to fade quickly, as if everyone knew that speaking out too much might bring trouble. After weeks of near silence, as if hiding from the eye of the storm, Kevin Hart made an unexpected appearance at the BET Awards, and he came with a very different energy. Gone was the usual Kevin, the light-hearted comedian who joked about everything and anything. This time, he spoke with sharp, loaded words, like a blade aimed straight at the heart of Hollywood's elite. While accepting the Entertainer of the Year award, Kevin opened his speech with a loaded metaphor. In the dark, the truth is often hidden behind stage lights. But sometimes, those lights aren't bright enough to blind us from what we need to see. The room went dead silent. No one could say for sure who Kevin was talking about, but everyone knew it wasn't just anybody. Over nearly 4 minutes, Kevin repeatedly emphasized themes of hidden manipulation, abused power, and silenced voices. At one point, he dropped a line that sent shockwaves through the media. "We've laughed at power for too long. It's time power started trembling at the truth." Kevin didn't need to say Diddy. That one line was all it took for Hollywood to understand exactly who he was warning. Some praised Kevin for his bravery, saying he was finally stepping out of the silence to speak truth, even if he had once been accused of being a passive bystander. Others questioned whether it was a calculated move. Maybe Kevin knew that staying silent too long would hurt his image, and that speaking out, even cryptically, might allow him to align himself with justice while avoiding direct backlash. What made it even more significant was how other artists, who had previously stayed neutral, began speaking out after Kevin's speech. Popular R&B singers like Her and Miguel reposted Kevin's words on Instagram with the caption "Respect." Rappers like Meek Mill and J. Cole didn't mention names, but posted cryptic stories like "No one escapes truth forever" or "Karma is real." It was clear, a wave was forming. The old power structures in entertainment were being challenged, and Kevin Hart was the one who lit the fuse. Some even speculated that Kevin's speech was a preemptive strike, a way to protect himself before getting dragged deeper into the investigation, since many of those who attended Diddy's parties were now under watch. Whatever the motive, Kevin's words at the BET Awards officially flipped the public's view, from suspicion to support. He had gone from a silent, questionable figure to the voice of an industry desperate to sever ties with its darkest secrets. Kevin's speech also triggered a massive wave of media response. Breakdown videos analyzing his words flooded TikTok, YouTube, and Reddit forums. In fact, the phrase Hollywood silent code became a hot discussion topic, referring to an era when celebrities turned a blind eye to wrongdoing just to protect their careers. And perhaps the most valuable question of all, was Kevin Hart speaking out of conscience, or out of survival? No one knows for sure. But what's clear is that he did something dozens of others could have done but didn't. He challenged a decaying power structure that's still fighting to survive. We're living in an era where power is no longer untouchable. The days when entertainment moguls could manipulate the entire system, rule from behind the curtain, and walk on stage hailed as legends, those days are numbered. Gone are the times when victims could be silenced with an NDA, a threat, or an envelope slid under the table. The truth, no matter how long it's been buried, always finds its way to the surface. And the real force of change doesn't come from powerful men fighting each other. It comes from the clarity and momentum of the audience, from you, from all of us. When someone like Kevin Hart, with a career worth hundreds of millions, dozens of major endorsement deals, dares to step on stage and speak even a sliver of the truth, it's not because he feels safe. It's because he knows, if he doesn't say it now, he may never get the chance again. And if people with platforms are still afraid, then those without one will remain buried in silence forever. What happened with Diddy isn't just an American celebrity scandal. This happens everywhere, in every industry where fame comes with power. That's why the question isn't will Diddy seek revenge, but rather, will we allow this story to be buried like so many other forgotten cases before it? After all the testimonies, the leaked videos, and the explosive speeches, people began asking a bigger question. Has the Diddy case truly ended? Legally, it may have closed with a conviction on lesser charges. But in the hearts of the public, in the industry, and among those who lived under Diddy's shadow, this saga is far from over. One thing is undeniable. This was never just a personal lawsuit. It was a wake-up call for the entire entertainment industry, a world where fame, money, and silence have long been used to bury pain, injustice, and even crimes. This case didn't just crack open the door everyone knew was hiding something awful, it blew it wide open. And now, no one can pretend not to see. Kevin Hart, though late to the stage, has become the voice of a new generation of artists determined to break the long-standing code of silence within the industry. Cassie Ventura, once a controlled pop singer, is now a symbol of courage. And people like Christina Carorm and Deontay Nash, once nobodies, are now shining lights into the darkest corners of showbiz. But justice doesn't happen on its own. It needs support, visibility, and sometimes, pressure from the public. So if you've watched this far, you're no longer just a spectator.
You're witnessing a pivotal moment, a turning point for the entertainment world.
And you can do something. Share this story. Don't let voices like Cassie's or Deontay's fade into silence, like so many victims before them.
Don't let Kevin Hart be the only one brave enough to speak the truth. Leave a comment. Who do you believe? What are you skeptical about?
And where do you want to see justice go from here? If you've ever felt like something was off behind all the glamour of showbiz, now you know why. And if you want to keep following this story, the twists that haven't been revealed yet, the next major names who might get exposed, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because what we've just seen today is only the beginning.